Please join me in welcoming Nina Sidell.
It is a pleasure to be here. Thank you so much for having me. Life is a journey, not a destination. So how do you feel and what do you think about as you travel on your life's journey? What consumes your awareness? In this day and age, we are bombarded with a myriad of stressors and distractions, and we have to keep up. How do you keep your balance and calm in a busy, chaotic world? So imagine this. It's a beautiful spring day, and the winter just ended. I'm from up north, so I can relate. I don't know if you can relate as well. Use your imagination if you need to. And a mom and her little girl are walking to a park. It's the child's first day of baseball practice, and the sun is beaming. It's kissing the trees and the plants, and the little girl notices every detail. She notices the flowers beginning to bloom. She even walks up and smells and loves the fragrance. She notices a butterfly going by and that it's got yellow and black spots. It's miraculous to her. It's beautiful to her. And the mother takes her daughter's hand and says, "Come on, let's go." Kind of like a robotic soldier. Whereas the child is an explorer. She wants to envision and experience and enjoy every moment of this walk with her mom. As they continue walking, the little girl trips on something, and because she's very attentive, bends down and picks it up. And she's exploring it and examining it and notices the bumps and the color differences, and that without the vocabulary or the verbiage in her mind, in her felt sense, in her experience, realizes this is the last vestige of winter. The snow has just melted. Everything is blooming. And she's so engrossed in the miraculousness of this little acorn. She says, "Mommy, look at this. Isn't this pretty?" And the mother says, "Come on, honey, we have to go. We'll be late. Let's go, come on. Practice is starting." The little girl says, Okay, Mom. As they continue walking through that path, the fields is right around the bend. And moments later, the little girl, as children do, starts running to see her friends. And the mom, just very robotically, keeps walking to get to the destination. What's the moral of the story? The moral is that, sadly, we adults sometimes forget the importance of the little things in life. We forget to be present, truly present, in each moment, with each gift that we are given, with each breath that we are given. Children, remember, children are very interested in being present. And in the world that we live in today, we need healing and presence to cope, thrive, and survive. Hi, I'm Nina Sidell. I am here talking to you as a former introvert. Do I have any introverts in the audience? How many, really, honestly, how many? So maybe not quite half. And as a child, I was very shy and observant, very creative, and very sensitive. And in fact, I'm still very sensitive, and I'm happy to be that. I consider it a strength at this point. And over time, because of my innate shyness and quietness and ability to observe and process internally, I took a lot of risks. In fact, I do comedy improv acting. I sing sometimes publicly, which still blows my mind that I can do that now. And I am here as a facilitator for your growth. Over time, because of the risks that I took, which I recommend to all of you through your lifetimes and your journeys, I became an extrovert. Talk about multitasking. And really, I have now realized that I am an ambivert. Any ambiverts in the room? Actually, how many extroverts are in the room? Okay, so we have a really great balance. So just to give you a quick definition of an ambivert is someone who has the innate feeling of an introvert, sometimes being shy and sensitive, oftentimes needing to recharge by being alone, having quiet time, being introspective. An extrovert gets their energy from groups of people and sounds and lots of interaction, the opposite of an introvert. So an ambivert essentially is both. An ambivert at different moments in time has the characteristics of both. So I can really identify with and honor people in all of these arenas. So fast forward a little bit, as a shy child taking lots of risks, I ended up going to college for psychology and graduate school for expressive arts therapy. So I'm a master's level psychotherapist, clinician in private practice. I've worked with a variety of populations, some that were extremely daunting and draining, and some that are very energizing, and I'm truly humbled to work with. I have worked with psychotics, schizophrenics, in those days manic depressives, now bipolar. I've worked with people that were highly suicidal, highly medicated. I worked with sexually abused youth, which was extremely difficult to deal with because they always came back to that setting every weekend. They'd go home and get aggressed upon again, and then come back to the residential treatment facility at which I worked. So I felt very powerless working with them. And since that time, when I lived in Massachusetts, I had a specialty of eating disorders and compulsive overeating, and some bulimic clients and some anorexic clients. Since then, in my current private practice, I work with women, parents, co-parents, children, and families, and I am currently also offering divorce support, which is growing in our society, as you may well know. So, as I have been a private practitioner, I've also been a mom. I'll share a little bit about me personally. And I have two incredible children, two sons who I adore dearly. And I had my last near-death experience. Yes, I said my last. I've had about 4. I'm very thankful to be here. That 3 days later, I realized, like that V8 commercial, I wish I coulda, shoulda, woulda, if I only had a V8. Well, 3 days later, I started writing my first book. And I knew that it was inside of me, but I didn't know I was so ready to write it. So as I was raising my children, which I will add as well, as a single mom, my clients, who were women, parents, children, families, were benefiting from the program that I developed, that I worked on with my children, and that I worked on with my clients. And I thought, gee, I actually have a practice that helps parents really identify and own how to be a conscious parent. Yay. And the benefits and the feedback and the outcomes that I have received from this practice, which is in my book, we'll talk about a little bit later in more detail, really has made an impact in people's lives. And it's really based on the relationship, the lifetime relationship between parent and child, from the beginning of your time together until the end of your time together. And I have found that most parenting books talk about what's wrong with the child, what behaviors have to be fixed or managed, and not so much about the human dynamic, the interaction that you have access to. You have the permission and the right and the honor to build with your children every day throughout life, throughout time. Your role changes as your children become young adults. You're still relating to them throughout life. Do you guys agree with that? I see some nodding. How many parents are in the room? Okay. Thank you. So, in adding to that, I have another book that I want to add that I'm completing right now. And it's a book of inspiring tips on consciousness. There's 6 sections. Conscious parenting is part of it. And I am very excited that this book will be coming out soon as well. And it's really incredible to have the opportunity to express myself. And I want to support all of you to find your voices in whatever ways that may be as well. And by the way, for my second act, I'm going to be speaking at the breakout session about the meaning and even the humor about parenting. Sometimes it's funny, and sometimes we wish it was funnier, right? So, what I understand about librarians is that you guys have a lot of stress that you're dealing with. Do you agree with that? Yes? Would everybody in this room agree that you feel that your job is more stressful than it would have been 100 years ago, 50 years ago? I see almost every head is nodding. So that's important to acknowledge the truth, the reality of what you deal with day to day. And that doesn't exclude what you deal with in your personal lives at home. Do you have stress at home as well? I see a few heads, but I saw mostly all heads nodding for your career stress. And I can appreciate that. So when you are thinking about your job, and when I think about librarians, it makes me think about Ben Franklin, because Benjamin Franklin, who was from Philadelphia, the city from which I hail, wanted lending libraries. He wanted to create community based on knowledge and the love of reading and books. And what's happened in this day and age? You're dealing with homelessness. Some of you in public libraries, and I'm sure some of the other libraries, special libraries, possibly the academic libraries, I don't know about the school libraries, are dealing with homelessness and drug addiction. You're dealing with issues that children are bringing in and students are bringing in from their home lives. So you go from being a community resource to caregivers. And by the way, I want you to know that I think that the work that you do is heroic. And I want to commend all of you for that. And I don't know if you get that kind of feedback, and I want to acknowledge you for that. So thank you. So my understanding is that it's optional to get Narcan training. And I know in the city of Philadelphia, at the Free Public Library, the big library downtown, they administer Narcan so that people aren't dying from opioid overdoses. Who trained you to do that? How come your job description doesn't enable you to learn about autism and about psychology and about drugs and about how to handle homelessness and how to handle mental illness? It's almost too much to bear. How do you keep your sanity? What do you do to take care of yourself while you're giving to the community of people that you serve? I'm happy to hear with some of you that I met mingling around before this began that you're taking mindfulness courses and that you're trying to find ways to keep yourselves calm and centered. We need that in this world today. The world truly is becoming mindless. And it's up to each of us, me included, and everyone that I interact with and teach and work with, to take care of ourselves so that we can be of better service to the people that we care for. And one of the things I want to add before I forget, and if I repeat it, bear with me, please, is you always have the option, you always have the choice in this moment. How do I want to interact with this person? What can I give right now? And what do I have to keep for myself? I can't give right now. I can't. I need a colleague to step in. It's too much for me. Do you ever feel like Walter Mitty and you want to escape into a fantasy land and you feel like, wouldn't it be amazing to be on a wild African safari, or maybe on a tropical beach with a celebrity, or maybe sipping a little wine at a wine bar, getting a chair massage? Who's with me? Yeah, because sometimes the work that we do takes from us. And I understand, I'm a psychotherapist. If I don't take care of myself, who will? If you don't take care of yourselves, who will? And remember that you teach other people how to treat you. including the people that walk in the doors of the library. Do you ever see somebody walk in the library and you're like, no, nope, 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 no, 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 and you start reading a book and you hope they don't see you? Yes? I think that's a yes. And the reason being, maybe they remind you of somebody that has been difficult for you in your personal life. Maybe you've dealt with them before, and you're concerned that their needs are more than you can supply, I see heads nodding, care for. Maybe you just don't have the skill, and it's okay because you weren't trained. It's not in your job description to be caregivers, to be nurturers. But here you are, that person walks through the door. So what do you do about that? So it's very important that you remember, and I'm just going to give you a little therapy moment here, that it's okay to have a boundary. We each have our own limit. And based on where you come from and what your background is, and whether you're trained, which some of you are and some of you are not, in all the things that are required of you in this interpersonal world that's fairly mindless, that maybe you need help. Maybe you need someone to step in. Maybe you need somebody to give you a hug and kind of symbolically hold your hand, because it's kind of difficult to deal with. And maybe it drains you. You don't want to be drained, but it is draining. So in that case, it's really important to notice how you feel. We're going to do some exercises so you can tune into yourselves. Notice how you feel and where your boundary is. How many people, I'm just curious, how many people here do encounter homelessness? Can you raise your hand so I can see you, please? Like really high up? Wow, 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 a lot of you. How many of you deal with people with severe, obvious mental illness? Okay. How many of you deal with children that need surrogate parenting in the library and guidance? What about autism? How many people deal with children who have autism on the spectrum? There's so many different levels there. Okay. And I'm curious, how many of you have gotten Narcan training or administered Narcan? Okay. It's a phenomenon in the United States. A very sad truth that we're dealing with. So based on the fact that it's voluntary to get these trainings, it seems as though, to me, that living in this world today, really and truly, you need advanced degrees, for God's sakes. You need advanced degrees in politics. We're not going to talk about it, but you need them in politics. You need advanced degrees in psychology to understand these people and what they need and how you can best serve them. You need advanced degrees, it seems like, in maybe even nuclear physics and maybe environmental sciences and human sciences. Although, you shouldn't have to. But that's the reality. So we're going to do an exercise. I would appreciate, let me explain a couple things. I think I'm jumping ahead. Hold on 1 minute. Okay, so what I'm here to teach you is raising of awareness. And this is the equation that I want to offer you. The equation is, as you learn, and remember, you're all about education, and learning is a key component to practicing anything. We can't go out and start playing great tennis until we learn how to play, right? We can't do it until we learn it. So you have to give yourself permission not to know. There's an expression that I sometimes use with my clients, to sit in the not knowing. That's empowering. It's okay to say, I don't know. It's okay to say, I'm afraid. It's okay to say, I wish I could, but I can't. It's all right. You'll get there, one step at a time. And that's what we teach our children, don't we? Hopefully. So this is the formula. The formula is learning and practicing mindfulness, which we'll get into in more detail. This next one's a great one, too. Learning and practicing self-compassion. And then acknowledging your resilience. Yeah. Acknowledging. Building it up. So over time, you become more mindful, more self-compassionate, and more resilient. And you feel like you can handle anything that comes your way. And that you're in charge of each one of these thoughts in your brain. And your reactions, that's a key component. So let's talk about the definitions. The definition of mindfulness, I'm going to be rather simplistic. I like to teach in a way that is very relatable so that you grasp it, so it's easy to assimilate, okay? So bear with me if it's overly simple, and I'm okay with that. So mindfulness, in essence, is moment-to-moment awareness with the absence of judgment or resistance. Mindfulness, the way I see it and the way that I practice and teach with my clients, and for my own life, brings you back to yourself. It brings you to a certain level of honesty and truthfulness with yourself. It doesn't have to be something outside of you, although a lot of definitions do say that being mindful is to be mindful of your own thoughts and feelings and body sensations, and to be aware without judgment or resistance, and to be aware of who's around you. Very key element people don't talk about. So that means that that person walks through the door that you feel, nah, you're able to tune into what you think and feel, and you're able to observe without the judgment or the resistance of that difficult potential patron or person in your personal life, or colleague or boss, just saying. Because that happens too. So the next definition is self-compassion. Self-compassion, I wish we taught this to children more often. So you'll learn today, and you'll teach everybody you know. Self-compassion is what you tell yourself, how you treat yourself in times of stress, overwhelm, burnout. Anybody relate to that one? Burnout. And when you make a mistake, or if you don't know something, what do you say to yourself? How do you treat yourself in those moments? Do you berate yourself and beat yourself up? I wish I knew, I stink, I made a mistake, oh no, I'm not good at that. Or do you treat yourself with kindness and love and compassion like you would your best friend? Sometimes we treat other people better than we treat ourselves, and in my opinion, that's unacceptable. You're allowed to take care of yourself and pat yourself on the back. It's okay. It's important to survive in this world. The next definition is resilience. And resilience is really the ability to bounce back. So you went through something difficult or challenging or overwhelming, or you didn't know really what to do or how to do it. And guess what? You survived. You rose above. And you acknowledge that you are capable to do it again. If you do it once, you can do it again. If you can do it twice, you can do it again. And it's really the ability to honor your strength. We all have strengths. I'm a strength-based therapist, and I look for strengths in people, and I want to help you build that up in yourselves. And it's actually strong to be vulnerable and say, I really don't know what I'm doing, or I don't want to do this. That's okay. That takes strength. So there's mantras that go with all of these. So the mantra for mindfulness, and I'm going to ask you to please repeat it with me, is very basic. It's I am aware. If you could please repeat it with me. Ready? I am aware. And that simple phrase is incredibly powerful. Why, you ask? I'll tell you. Because you are giving yourself permission, moment to moment, without judgment or resistance, to be aware. So you may have had blinders on a minute ago, but when you remind yourself, oh yes, I'm aware, you just come right back to it. And we're going to do some meditation work, and I'll remind you of that during those processes as well. So berating yourself is not on the agenda. ever. Doesn't help you, doesn't serve your patrons, doesn't serve your relationships. The mantra for self-compassion, I love this one, is, wait, did I get it right? Yes. The only way out is through. So after me, let's repeat, please. The only way out is through. And that's a really positive, self-affirming message. Because you know that where you are right now in this minute isn't static, right? We grow, the day changes from morning till night, everything moves, there's always movement. One of the constants in life is change. And I say about parenting, the one major constant is, as you get to know your child developmentally and where they're at and how to handle them and how to respond, oh my God, they change and grow and you have to learn a new set of skills. That's how it goes. That's what you signed up for. So the only way out is through is a very loving reminder to give to yourself that it's kind of like this too shall pass, but it's also moving through what work you need to do, how you can take the steps and use the tools to move through that moment with grace and dignity and strength and honesty, self-honesty. Resilience has another mantra, and we're going to use this in one of the meditations. I think you'll really enjoy it. So resilience, the mantra is, my breath keeps me calm. So let's say that together. Ready? My breath keeps me calm. Anybody know what that feels like? I'm going to teach you that today, in part, so you'll enjoy that. So when you are dealing with someone that comes into the library, you know, maybe they're knocking a book off the shelf, maybe they're on their phone and they're disruptive, maybe they look like they haven't had a shower in a while and they need a place to rest, maybe they look like they're on drugs, maybe they look disoriented or lost, maybe they came from a home that there's no computer, or the parents aren't around, or the parents don't know what to do to help them study and work on their project, or prepare for SATs, or look into their career choices on a computer. You kind of step into these roles that are really not in your job description. What do you do? What do you say to yourself? How are you mindful, and how are you mindless? So when you're mindless, let me help give you a little tool here. The way that you know when you're mindless is because you're on automatic pilot. You're reactive. You're not responding, you're reacting. It's a good way to tune into yourself and say, gee, I'm having an immediate reaction. I feel uncomfortable. And then the self-compassion piece comes in. I don't know what to do, and I'm wrong because I don't know what to do. I don't feel good about myself because I don't know what to do. And therefore, I'm not building any resilience. I just feel inept, ill-equipped. And that's the converse of what I'm asking you to look into. So let's turn the tables, and that happens when you go home. You might have had one of those days at work, and we all do. Everyone does. And there's a challenge, there's an obstacle, whatever it may be. You go home, and then you have a relationship issue with a partner, a child, a parent, a friend, and you're feeling that kind of bombardment again. This is what you need to start to look at. I'd like you to start to look at. So when you're mindful, you're tuning in to, first is, what am I thinking? This is also, I do cognitive behavioral therapy as well, and so it starts with the thought. What am I thinking right now? What's my belief about this? What are my thoughts? What's my self-talk, which is how we speak to ourselves? We do it all the time, either affirming or berating. Choose affirming, please. Am I being self-compassionate right now? So this person feels like a challenge to me. or they remind me of someone that is a major challenge in my life or in my past. Or going home, I can't deal with this right now. I had a hard day. So you tune into your thought, and you tune into your body sensations. We're going to go into that too shortly. I'm tense, I'm nervous, I feel like throwing up. I want to run out the door, whatever that feeling is. I feel tense and tight and pained. And then you decide, are you going to rise above it? You're going to bounce back? Can you bounce back? Or are you going to be stuck in the same old, same old? And I will give you another really cool little quick tip because I like to teach and share. Every relationship in everybody's life, when I work with couples and even adult children and their parents, I talk about this, and siblings. When one person changes in a relationship, it automatically changes the whole entire dynamic between the two people. Super cool, isn't it? Empowering. The Tony Robbins, what is it, the pose? For strong. It's empowering. You put yourself in a position that you don't have to know everything. You're just willing to learn and grow. And therefore, the dynamics with everyone else that you relate to is going to evolve. It's going to turn into more of a unified relationship, or it may end. And that can be a good thing too. Okay, I'd like you to uncross your legs, your arms, your fingers, and your eyes, if your eyes are crossed, which I don't think anybody's are they? Thank you. If you're wearing glasses, it's your choice, it's your life. You can keep them on or take them off, please. And we're going to do a quick exercise, and then we're going to talk about some of the types of mindfulness and the health benefits of mindfulness. So what I'd like you to do is, I made a mistake, I went too quickly. If you could turn your handouts on the opposite side where the paper is open and plain, empty, and grab a pen, kindly, thank you. The feedback forms I would appreciate you filling out and leaving after, so these are for you to take and to write on right now. So if you have your handouts, my logo is on the top, and a pen. Everybody ready? Okay. So what I'd like you to do, and this is for you, so feel free to let it rip. As they say in Texas, yeehaw, let it rip. So what I'd like you to do is to write down and leave room. We're doing 2 exercises. You need some room on the second half of the page. Is to write down everything on your mind in 30 seconds. So what I like to say is dump it on the paper. Dump it out. It's good for you. So when I count to 3, I'd like you to start writing everything on your mind. 1, 2, 3. Ready, set, go. Everything on your mind for 30 seconds. It can be general, vague, or specific. Doesn't matter. Get it out of your mind and put it on the paper. About 15 more seconds. Keep going. Let it out, let it out, let it out. Okay, please stop. Excellent job. I noticed that you were furiously writing. Everybody must have a lot on their mind. And that's fine. And that's the way we live today, isn't it? That's really, the human brain, the computers outside of us, kind of are reflective of the internal computer that we have going on in our heads. And it's not really a healthy way to live, although that's our society that we live in. So we need to learn new skills in order to feel more empowered to deal with our stress and overwhelm. Okay, so now if you could please uncross everything and close your eyes. We're doing a short exercise that incorporates mindful, intentional breathing and a body scan or progressive muscle relaxation. Okay, so just for now, allow yourself to feel very heavy in your chair. You can slouch or slump. You can put your stomach out, no one's looking at you. Make sure you definitely feel your feet touching the ground, please. Good. Feel connected. And if you need to stretch your back or your arm or you have an itch, go ahead and do that now. So what I'd like to do is ask you from the bottom of your feet to the top of your head. We're doing a scan. And as you do this body scan, I'm asking you to locate one place in your body that feels either stressed, pained, irritated, tight, or if you don't have those feelings, any sensation in your body, you're going to locate one specific place that is calling you to take attention, put attention on this one area. Our bodies never lie. They tell us many things. So we're going to start with some deep cleansing breaths, yoga breaths, which are in through your nose and out through your mouth. And the key is to slowly breathe in to the count of 5 and hold it, and I'll go over it with you. And then slowly breathe out as you exhale to the count of 5. So let's practice that now. Nice deep breath in through your nose, hold it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and exhale through your mouth 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Let's do that again. Deep breath in through your nose. And this time I'd like you to think of the idea and feeling of calm. Breathe in calm and hold it, hold it, hold it. And release with your out-breath anything other than calm. It's okay if you make a sound. We do make sounds when we breathe. And one more breath. I'd like you to breathe in the feeling of peace. Breathe it in and hold it. Hold it. Very good. Excellent. And let go. So kind of like a detective, you're just observing yourself right now, quietly, calmly, and lovingly. Starting with your feet. Just pay attention to your feet and see if there's any sensations in your feet or your toes. Move your awareness up to your ankles. And then your lower legs, front and back. After that, notice your knees, any sensations, just observing. And then your upper thighs, front and back. Your body holds you through this life, so this is a way to honor yourself and your body. And now, gracefully and lovingly move up to your hip area and your pelvis. Notice what's going on there, if anything. And your stomach. See if your stomach has anything to tell you. And now your lower back. And then the middle of your back. And your chest, your heart area. Are you feeling anything in your heart area? Now your shoulders, your upper arms, your lower arms, your hands, your fingers. And bring your awareness to your neck that holds up your head with all of your thoughts, the front, sides, and back of your neck. And then moving up to your head, your cheeks, your chin, your ears, your nose, your eyes, and behind the sockets of your eyes, your forehead, in between your brows, anything going on there. The top and back of your head. So once done, please go to the one area that called for your attention. Focus your attention on that place, please. If it's your stomach, you can put your hand right there and give yourself some loving touch, healing touch with your own hand, the warmth of your hand. Wherever the area is okay. You are unique. And you hold tension and you feel sensations independently of anyone else. So we're going to take some of those cleansing breaths and breathe directly into that place now. With your eyes closed, nice and relaxed. Calmly, nice deep breath in through your nose. Breathe in calmness into that place. Hold it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And release anything that's bothering you in that place with your out breath with your mouth. Let's do that again. Nice deep breath in through your nose. Breathing calm into that area, or the area that tends to hold tension. Deep breath in. Hold it for 5 seconds. Give yourself oxygen. Breathe in love, self-love, and calm. And release anything other than calm or love or peace. And for the very last breath, in your mind's eye, think the phrase, "My breath keeps me calm." So final breath, please think of that mantra. Nice deep breath in. And attached to that area, my breath keeps me calm. Very good. And notice how you feel as you're breathing into that place that's yearning for your attention, that deserves your attention. And now please notice your feet on the ground, your body in the chair, the breath in your body. And when you are ready, open your eyes. You all did a beautiful job. So on that same piece of paper, I'd like you to, in 30 seconds, do the same thing as we did before and write down whatever's on your mind right now. So as soon as you're ready, grab your pen and your insight and write down all that's on your mind. Ready, set, go. Notice any difference from before. Either how many thoughts you're holding, what is consuming your awareness, or how you have less thoughts or happier thoughts than you did previous to the body scan and conscious breathing exercise. A few more seconds. Almost done? Great job. Interesting, everybody's done earlier now. Interesting. Okay, so I'm going to ask for a little feedback before we go on to the next part. How's everybody feeling? If you want, just call out a word or two. I'm feeling amazing, I'm feeling fantastic. I feel calmer, I don't have anything in my mind. Oh, what's wrong with me? Kidding, don't say that part. Happy. Happy. Hopeful. Relax. Good. Anyone else? Do you feel a sense of relief and a lighter feeling in you? So really know that you can do this specific exercise. I always say as long as you're not driving, you don't want to close your eyes and breathe when you're driving. Then you have a whole other set of issues to deal with. That you can take the time at your desk, you can go into the bathroom when you get up in the morning, before you go to sleep at night, the minute you get home, and you could do this simple exercise frequently. And the thing that I think is really remarkable is that no one knows you're doing it but you. You're loving yourself in the confines of your own existence. And you feel better. You all did a really good job. So please look at the handout. We're going to talk about different types of mindfulness and the incredible health benefits of mindfulness. It's really wonderful. So the first type of mindfulness is conscious intentional thinking. That really is quite wonderful because you are basically training your brain with what you think and how you behave. Conscious intentional thinking. You really are learning how to respond versus react. And there are times in life, all of us have triggers, people, events, moments, and we react instead of respond. So when you're conscious and intentional with your thoughts, you're going to be less reactive in your lives and relationships and work days, and more responsive. I mentioned earlier, another type that I do in my work as an expressive arts therapist is cognitive behavioral therapy. Cognitive behavioral therapy is a wonderfully structured approach to acknowledging that the thoughts then impact the feelings, then impact the action. So we catch ourselves in our thoughts before it drops down into our body of feeling and sensing. And then the choices that we make reflect that. We have a choice. Mindful breathing. I skipped one. Mindfulness meditation. We're going to be doing, we did a little bit of a mindfulness meditation. We're going to be doing another one toward the end that I think you'll really enjoy. And that is, again, giving yourself permission to tune in to yourself. Even if you have a stack of papers and books on your desk, even if you have people that need you in that moment, just to tune in so you're present in yourself. And again, when you're present in yourself and you feel confident in yourself and you feel calm and peaceful within, that will be reflected without, even if your environment is not calm and peaceful. The more you practice these tools that you'll be taking out of your pocket, the better you'll get at them. That's key. And mindfulness meditation, incidentally, and all meditation, it's like learning tennis. It takes learning and practice. And it's advised that even as little as 15 minutes a day, that's it, will change your brain and create more calm and awareness within you. Mindful breathing, we just did a sample of that. There's a few different elements of that teachers talk about. There's some that you can breathe out of different nostrils for 30 seconds. You close one, you breathe out the other, the opposite. There's breath work that you can breathe in for, breathe out for. In yoga, in Kundalini yoga, there's a thing called breath of fire that you breathe through your stomach and it makes your face really red. But it's a conscious way to use the breath. Because so often we hold our breaths, especially when we're tense. Does anybody relate to that? Yeah, we freeze up, and that's the opposite of what we need to do. Mindful eating is a biggie too for a lot of people, because how many of you are emotional eaters sometimes? A little bit, right? Because sometimes we don't know how to quell our anxieties or our upsets. And it's handy to put something in our mouths and eat it. Comfort food. It doesn't mean that that's what our body needs or even our psyches and emotions need at that moment. It's easy to acquire. And the last one is the body scan and progressive muscle relaxation, which we just did. If you were in a yoga class, you would be on the floor, on a mat, doing the same thing. And it's turning your awareness to yourself. So if you're typically focused on those around you and the environment around you, it's an opportunity to look within you. Highly recommend it. So the health benefits of mindfulness are many, 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 many. And you can see on your handout forms. So self-regulation is something I touched on before, which is about responding versus reacting. So instead of being in the stress mode of fight or flight mode, when we're threatened, you're in the relaxation mode. You intentionally put yourself in the relaxation mode. So the relaxation response becomes your go-to, not the other way around. And I can tell you from experience, the more I practice this, no matter what environment I'm in, I am very chill, honey. I'm good because I practice. That's all it takes. You also will be reducing anxiety and depression. So it's science-based, it's evidence-based, that even people that are clinically anxious and depressed on medication, including some of my clients, the act of meditating, whether it's whatever kind of meditation it is, changes your brain chemistry and your body reactions so that you can actually take charge of your sensation emotionally. I'm not telling you to get off of medication, in concert with it. It helps you manage stress. This is all evidence-based. It helps you age more gracefully. Who wants to do that? I don't think you want to look like Abe Lincoln after the Civil War, right? After each season of your career and life where you're so stressed that it shows all over you. So you want to be able to lengthen those telomeres through exercise, mindfulness, meditation, healthy living, good sleep habits. so that you actually appear younger and you feel so much better. It also is good for pain relief. So if you have chronic pain or you're recovering from surgery, you can eliminate some of the drugs, yay, that the medical people give you, because sadly they don't know what else to do to help you. They mean well, but they don't have the tools, so you have to. Your heart rate and blood pressure will improve. Again, it's evidence-based. If you go to the doctor and they do your blood pressure, they put the cuff on you and it's racing, say to your doctor, just give me 5 minutes. Do your and say, do it again. It will reduce. It's amazing. You can freak your doctors out. And of course, better eating habits. So what I'd like to do now is one more meditation with you. So put yourself in the equation of your day-to-day living, of your moment-to-moment living. Find whatever gives you peace and a feeling of being centered, no matter what. So if you're uncrossed, please stay that way. If you crossed back, please uncross. This one is a little longer. This is a more personal meditation. It's very soothing. So I'll give you a quick synopsis, and that is, this is called your inner sanctuary. So you are being invited to create a place for yourself for the rest of your lives called your inner sanctuary. We're going to access all of your senses, and you can take 5 minutes, you can take 20 minutes, whatever you need, to put yourself in this space. So if you could kindly close your eyes, please. Feel your feet on the ground so you don't feel dizzy or spacey when you open them again. You feel the connection. And to make it even more potent, I'd like you to imagine roots growing from the bottom of your feet. Those roots are specific to you, and just observe the dimension, color, and texture of your roots, your internal root system, as if you were a tree. And just imagine that your roots are growing through the floor in this room, underneath the floor, into the earth, and then shoot them down deeply, miles down into Mother Earth. See if you can imagine them just sprouting as far down as possible. Very good. If you don't have a full sense of it, you can develop it. It's okay. Be self-compassionate. And once you feel that sensation that you're very connected to the earth, and you are a part of the earth, I'd like you to imagine going somewhere that's absolutely beautiful to you. This is a safe place in your mind's eye. You're going to be developing it. Today is the introduction to this place. This can be a place that you've been before in reality. It can be a place you've read about and seen pictures of in books or in movies. And it can be a figment of your imagination or a combination thereof. There's no right and wrong. You're not being tested. And at first I'd like you to notice, are you indoors or are you outdoors, or a combination? So using your sense of sight, look around. What do you see? Do you see an ocean, a mountain, a special room that you grew up in, a beautiful palace that you've read about? Do you see animals or people, nature, flowers, pillows? What colors are there? All that you envision is completely for you and is pleasing to you. It fills you. It inspires you. It's beautiful and miraculous. Anything you want exists here in this inner sanctuary. And now use your auditory sense and notice anything you might hear. Do you hear the ocean waves, or birds singing, or dogs barking? Do you hear your mother's voice telling you she loves you? Do you hear music? Do you hear silence, perhaps? Just be observant. Use your imagination. And now your olfactory, your sense of smell. Any fragrances here that you just love so much when you smell and breathe it in automatically calms you when you smell this fragrance. What would it be? When you revisit it, you will develop your senses in your sanctuary. And now your sense of taste. You may not eat anything here, but if you could, what would it be? Whatever it is delights you, nourishes you, feeds you, your body and soul. And kinesthetically, what could you feel if you were to touch in this place? What kinds of textures are there? Comforts in the form of touch. And emotionally, how are you feeling? You are giving yourself a gift. This gift helps you to feel more peaceful than perhaps you've felt in quite a while. And that's okay. So just for a few moments, I'd like you to linger in your inner sanctuary. Explore it. Take your time. Really engage your senses so that this becomes a part of your psyche and your memory. So it's easy to return to when you need it. Notice the feeling of inner peace and calm. It empowers you. It helps you to deal with anything, any challenge you might have. And just stay in this peaceful place for now. If you get distracted, just come back to your sanctuary and your breath. Just gently come back to yourself. No judgment or resistance. Take it all in. Notate what's most significant for you. All is well in your world. And you have the power to give yourself what you need in order to feel that wellness and well-being. You deserve it. You earned it. And we're going to leave the sanctuary momentarily. Before we do, please acknowledge yourself and thank yourself for taking yourself on this journey. Give yourself permission. And kudos. And when you're ready, notice your feet on the floor, your body in the chair, and your breath in your body. And when you're ready, please open your eyes. How does everybody feel? This is a beautiful reminder that you have the power to create inner peace. We're not really taught that, are we? So teach yourself today. Allow that to be part of your life's repertoire. No guilt, no shame, no concern about if anyone else is doing it. Because as you become better at developing these tools you will take out of your pocket, you will also influence the people around you. And you'll feel better doing it. Even heroes need self-care. Everyone's so quiet. It's great. I feel it. I can feel it. So, you all did a really wonderful job. Really wonderful job with that. So, I'm going to be doing a book signing. And before I'll talk about that briefly. I wrote the book, as I said, after my last near-death experience. Please, no more. And I'm very humbled by it because it won the Mom's Choice Award in 57 countries. And it was endorsed by Deepak Chopra, who I met. And the endorsement is, if you are interested in conscious parenting, this book is an excellent guide, and I am truly humbled by that. And the book is suitable for parents, co-parents, libraries, colleges and universities, hint, hint. I will be speaking on the book for those after the book signing for the breakout session about that more. I love to connect with anyone who wants their book in their library, university, or knows of professors that could utilize it. You can also purchase the book on my website, which is liveinspiredwithnina.com. And liveinspiredwithnina.com has the link for the Amazon page. It can also be purchased on Barnes & Noble online as well. And there's homework at the end of every chapter. The sections are growing your relationship, evolving your relationship, and resolving your relationship. And it really holds parents accountable for their role, their history, the way they were raised, their parenting style, their parenting vision, in how they relate to their child. And those of you who are parents can attest to, and I can too, that not every child's the same. So sometimes you need to adjust to relate to children differently, because every child, I'm happy to say, every adult in this room, is a unique and special individual. So they need to be cared for as such. And self-care is part of that book because it is a lot of giving when you're parenting. Constantly. And letting go. Letting go. That was the hardest chapter I wrote. Know when to hold on and when to let go. Biggie. Anybody can relate to that one? So that's something I just want to add, that it's suitable for many, many folks. And what I'm asking you to do from today forward is to become conscious and self-loving each moment and thought at a time. So let's combine the 3 mantras and turn it into an affirmation. Now, what I'm going to ask everybody to do, we all have different names, is to insert your name in the beginning. So I'll be I, Nina, and you'll be I, whomever. And it's on the bottom of your handouts. We're going to read together the affirmation, which are the 3 mantras connected to one another. Do you see that on the bottom? So it starts with, I am aware, the only way out is through, and my breath keeps me calm. So together, insert your name, and let's do it, okay? Here we go. I, Nina, am aware. The only way out is through, and my breath keeps me calm. The more you practice, the more you use these tools, the better you will become at it. And all of the health benefits that we discussed will become a part of your reality. Your tools will increase, and you will feel more alert to, boy, am I reacting right now or responding? Ooh. And if you make a mistake, which you will because we all do, we're human, be self-compassionate about it. It's okay. I'm learning. I still love myself. And now I'm going to use my breath. And remember, start over and feel good about the accomplishments that I have achieved. Let's see if there's anything else I'd like to add. So just remember that these actions are a form of self-care. It started in the eastern part of the world, and we're finally kind of catching up. In the 70s, meditation, for example, was kind of a hippie freak thing to do. And it didn't really catch on. And Jon Kabat-Zinn created mindfulness not that long ago so that it is infused in our current world. And I know that when Ben Franklin developed the idea of the library, he couldn't possibly conceive of what you deal with in your work during these times. So it's up to you to be present in the way the world currently is and to take the best possible care of yourself. You really deserve it. So create your very best conscious life starting today. One loving and mindful thought at a time. Thank you. Thank you.
So this is a thank you from the TLA District 3 for coming to speak with us today.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you.